Evening, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council to order for September 17th, 2015 at 8 p.m. On roll call, council members, Caramagna is absent due to illness. Coletti?
Here.
Martino?
Here.
Petagano?
Here.
Bonsino?
Here.
Dombrowski?
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everybody rise for flag salute? I don't even have, we're just going to have a flag salute today. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was going to bring it.
No, I have it. Pete,
Mayor, at this time, we'll move on to the statement of
thank
compliance.
you, Joe.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires at the commencement of every meeting, a statement of compliance to be read by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack and Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1st, 2015. Mayor, at this time, we have minutes for approval.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
That's for May, August, July, September, and
September
executive.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Martino. Any discussion?
If there's any abstentions, please note it in the roll call. Councilmember Caramagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Petagano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, we're required to have a public hearing on Resolution R 310-15. This is in connection with our application for the 2015 Open Space Trust Fund, and the money that will be applied for this year will be $59,250 from the County Trust Fund in order to make improvements to the Cherry Hill Park playground improvements. So, Mayor, we'll need a motion to open to the public.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Bonsino, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Petagano. Discussion, all in favor, opposed? Is there anyone in the public who would like to be heard on this? Seeing no one, I'll close the public portion.
And Mayor, at this time, if I could read the resolution to the record.
Right.
R 310-15, resolution endorsing trust fund application for Cherry Hill Park. Whereas the Bergen County Open Space, Recreation, Floodplain Protection, Farmland, and Historic Preservation Trust Fund, known as the County Open Space Trust Fund, provides matching funds to municipal governments and to nonprofit organizations for assistance in the development or redevelopment of outdoor municipal recreation facilities. And whereas the Borough of Elmwood Park desires to further the public interest by obtaining a matching grant of $59,250 from the County Trust Fund to fund the following project: Cherry Hill Park playground improvements. And whereas the governing body has reviewed the County Trust Fund program statement and the Trust Fund Municipal Program Park Improvement application and instructions, and desires to make application for such a matching grant and to provide application information and furnish such documents as may be required. Whereas, as part of the application process, the governing body received public comments on the proposed park improvements in the application, and whereas the County of Bergen shall determine whether the application is complete and in conformance with the scope and intent of the County Trust Fund. And whereas the applicant is willing to use the County Trust Fund in accordance with such rules, regulations, and applicable statutes, and is willing to enter into an agreement with the County of Bergen for the above-named project and ensure its completion on or about the project contract expiration date. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough of Elmwood Park that it is hereby authorized to submit the above completed project application to the county by the deadline of September 3rd, 2015, as established by the county. That in the event the County Trust Fund award that may be less than the grant amount requested above, that Elmwood Park has and will secure the balance of the necessary funding to complete the project or modify the project as necessary. That the Borough of Elmwood Park is committed to providing a dollar-for-dollar cash match for the project, and that only those park improvements identified and approved in the project application, its trust fund, or other documentation will be considered eligible for reimbursement. And that the Borough of Elmwood Park agrees to comply with all applicable federal, state, and local laws, rules, and regulations in its performance of the project, and that the resolution is to take effect immediately. Mayor, with that, we'll need a motion on the resolution.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Martino, second.
Second.
Mr. Pettigano, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
And Mayor, just to note that the application was submitted by the September 3rd deadline. However, the county does provide us some leeway due to summer meeting schedules to have the public hearing and adopt the requisite resolution. Moving on to ordinances tonight. Ordinances on first reading. We have Resolution 311-15, introduced ordinance 15-21 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 14 of the Code of Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, entitled Fire Prevention, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, October 1st, 2015, at 8 p.m., or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be, and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper. A notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Mr. Pettigano.
On roll call, Councilmembers Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under ordinances on second reading, we have Resolution R 312-15, introduced ordinance 15-20 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled A Bond Ordinance to appropriate an additional sum of $128,000 for the improvements to Boulevard, Sections 8, 9, and 10, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of such bonds, to finance such additional appropriations, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in the anticipation of such issuance of such bonds. And whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, August 20th, 2015, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled A Bond Ordinance to appropriate an additional sum of $128,000 for the improvement of Boulevard, Sections 8, 9, and 10, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park and County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an additional appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, pass on final reading. Mayor will need a motion to open to the public.
Motion, please.
So
Mr.
moved.
Coletti, Mr. Bonsino, any discussion? Anyone in the audience? No one wishes to speak, I'll close the public portion.
Mayor will need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Mr. Martino, discussion? This is money that we get from the state, New Jersey Department of Transportation, and it's late, so what we're trying to do is get the road fixed primarily, excuse me, primarily from Route 4, okay, Broadway, down to Elmwood Terrace. That is the area that is most desires for repaving. And we'll be able to get that done this year before the cold weather sets in. As for the rest of it, we will have to see what we can do at that area, but we're trying to do as much as possible. But I've been assured by the engineer that we can at least do the area by the bank and ShopRite. Excuse me, not ShopRite, Pathmark. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Mayor, this evening under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 313-15, payment of bills, Resolution 314-15, payment of escrow, Resolution 315-15, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 316-15, approve annual audit report for the Borough of Elmwood Park for the municipal audit for calendar year 2014, Resolution 317-15, resolution authorizing the Borough Clerk to sign the TWA permit application for pump station number 6, Resolution 318-15, resolution authorizing the Borough of Elmwood Park to proceed on a month-to-month basis with the Borough of Fair Lawn regarding shared services for the building department, Resolution 319-15, resolution to add eligible firefighters to the LoSAP program for 2014, Resolution 320-15, appoint violations clerk/keyboarding 1, Stephanie Cuomo Jacob in the municipal court, Resolution 321-15, appoint temporary fire subcode official John Wolfstern in the building department, Resolution 322-15, dedication by rider, parking offense adjudication. Resolution 323-15, redeem third-party tax lien 136/138 Cadmus Avenue. Resolution 324-15, redeem third-party tax lien 105 Washington Avenue. Resolution 325-15, redeem third-party tax lien 260 Martha Avenue. Resolution 326-15, renew liquor licenses for the 2015-2016 license term. Resolution 327-15, resolution authorizing emergency water main repair 125 Main Ave. Resolution 328-15, appoint before and after school employees in the Recreation Department. Resolution 329-15, authorize refunds for the Recreation Department programs. Resolution 330-15, approve rules and regulations for the Elmwood Park Police Department. Resolution 331-15, resolution approving the relocation of a bus stop located on River Drive. Resolution 332-15, authorize refund for the Recreation Department. And Resolution 333-15, resolution to enter into a grant agreement with the County of Bergen for improvements to Franklin Street, Gall Avenue, and North Street.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Mr. Boncino, any discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Pettigano.
Yes.
Boncino.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Mayor, this evening under departmental reports, you have the municipal court for July and the finance department for August. Need a motion to receive and file, Mayor.
May I have a motion, please? Mr. Boncino, second.
Second.
Mr. Coletti, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Mayor, this evening under raffle applications, we have St. Leo's Church Home and School 50/50 raffle, St. Leo's Church Home and School Tricky Tray application, Bergen County Tech High School bingo application, Bergen County Technical High School 50/50 raffle application, Elmwood Park VFW Post 5084 instant raffle application, Elmwood Park Patterson Elks Lodge Tricky Tray application, and Elmwood Park Patterson Elks Lodge 50/50 raffle application.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Martino, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Coletti.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Pettigano.
Yes.
Boncino.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Thank you. Committee reports, let's start at your end, Mr. Martino.
I just want to remind everybody, the homeowners meeting, the 23rd of this month. Again, I guess we ask every month, and hopefully people can show up. And Mayor, I'm going to ask you, when you get to your part, maybe you can mention it too, so we can get some people in there and start building up the homeowners association again.
Thank you.
The second thing, last year, I was very fortunate, I got a little piece of paper from my son's school that he got a perfect score in his NJS for math. Yesterday, he bought another piece of paper home. This past year, he got a perfect score on his science. 2 years in a row, he's the only one in the 16th Avenue School that got perfect scores on all testing. And I want to thank the teachers and everybody that's helped him along that way. That's what I have to say.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He did the work.
Say it again.
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Department is running the after-school program now, and it's running very well. It's in its second week, and we haven't had any problems, and if there are any problems, we do want to know. The town welcome signs should be appearing in the next couple weeks, so we all look forward to that. At least people will know where they are coming into town. And on Friday, I forgot the movie night. What night is that?
Next to 28th. I believe.
28th. The 28th, they'll be showing Nightmare, what's the name
Elm
of it?
Street?
The cartoon?
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare on Elm
Before
Street.
Christmas.
No.
Nightmare Before Christmas, yes.
I'm sorry, it's the 25th, Councilman.
The
Yes,
25th,
25th,
that's a
yes.
Friday night, so it would be great to get out there. It's going to be a little chilly probably, so please dress warmly. And that's all I have for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you.
What
Mr.
was the date on that?
The
movie?
25th.
Of what month?
October.
Oh, scared me when you said.
October?
September.
September.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Would you like to start all over again?
No, it's all right. I forgot my notes at home.
It's
I
September,
apologize.
right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
forgot my notes at home. I apologize.
October would be really chilly.
Yes.
To my colleague, Mr. Martino, I'm very happy to hear that your son is excelling.
Yep.
And I know that's just something that a parent wants to be very, very proud of. And so,
He does the work, I just pain in the neck, I guess.
strap out and dash.
No, he don't need that. He's a good kid.
I had the opportunity yesterday to attend our JIF meeting, Joint Insurance Fund. Actually, I sit on 3 committees there, the Executive, Claims, and Safety, so it's like a 3-hour ordeal. But it was very good. The surplus, which is down about $750,000 from last year, is to be expected due to the extreme winters we had. But I keep an eye on that because that tells me how the fund is being managed. And as long as that's stable, I like to see that. Elmwood Park is in the top 4 towns out of 23 members in South Bergen JIF to have the least amount of time lost to an accident. This credit goes to our administrator, the safety meetings that we have, and our department heads. So let's stay the course on that. And Keith, this is directed to you. I had an opportunity a while back to read an ordinance you had on illegal children in the school system.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to bring it up at our work meeting, but if you can make a point of it that we can discuss.
Yeah, the mayor previously, earlier this week, asked me for a copy of it. He has it, and he's asked me to send it to Mr. Greco, which I have over at the school district, and the Board of Education and the school board attorney are currently reviewing it, and they're going to provide feedback before we add it to a work session.
Excellent. I should have known, Mayor, you were one step ahead.
No, I'm trying. One of the things we have to keep in mind in relation, if you don't mind, the school board already has a resolution to the effect that if they catch anybody coming into our program, they pay a percentage of how long he's been here from the total cost of how much it costs us for a student to participate in our schools. So they have one. They thought it out a while back. But I think Keith has to go to Superior Court, right?
Right now, as it stands, if a school wants to seek restitution for a child who was ineligible to be in the schools, they would have to go to Superior Court. This ordinance, as it was adopted last night, would then take that forum to the municipal court, and it would be held in town.
So that would help us. If the Board of Education wants us to go along with that, we can do it. They're doing a good job of keeping the kids out. But if they want us to do it, I see nothing wrong with just adding on to that. That would be good. And we'll let, Mr. Greco will let us know exactly what the Board of Ed feels and what they want to do. Right, Keith?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And lastly, the fire department is attending its annual convention. Do not fear, though, our town is safe through our partners in mutual aid. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Dombrowski?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. October 19th, here in the municipal building from 10:30 to 11:30, our Board of Health and the Bergen County Health Department will be giving out free flu vaccinations. Anybody interested, please come down to get your free flu shot. We are also working on getting a second date to do it at the senior center. That date is yet to be determined, but we have the commitment from the county to do a second date also at the senior center. From the Chamber of Commerce, first of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for supporting the town sign project. Most of the signs are sold. We have about 4 left. And again, I'd like to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for coming across and supporting that program very well. And if anybody read the paper today, we're looking to possibly do some recycling bins here in town, and we have a few things to work out, but I think we're going to be I think this council's committed to making sure something happens, and I hope it goes forward, and we look forward to seeing something in the near future.
Joe, I have a question on that.
Certainly.
Are we going to make any money? Is the town going to make any money on these recycling bins?
Not at all, no. The money that is generated from the advertising, because it's a chamber project, would go to the chamber. However, if the town wanted to do it and not the chamber, then the town would make the money. But it's more of a project for the chamber. And it's a minimal amount of money. It's the average, there's depending on how many there are, let's assume that there's 20, it would be about $500.
So what's the benefit?
Well, the benefit is that we get recycling, we commit to recycling here in this town. We no longer have the commingled trash cans all over Borough Field and/or Market Street or wherever these receptacles are placed. And I think we have a commitment to the environment that we actually start promoting recycling again. I think not just our community, but I think nationally, I think we've gotten away from the education about recycling. And I know we do our home pickup and we separate our garbages here, but when you go to Borough Field or you go to a park, you see everything being thrown into a commingled garbage can. And this is just being environmentally sound, and it's being environmentally responsible for us to do that. So that's what I'm...
Your point is well taken. However, I don't think it's actually going to happen. People are people, and the ones that are going to recycle or recycle-minded, they will recycle. Otherwise, what you're going to have is the section that is just for cans, commingled, is going to be mixed in with general garbage, and I really don't think that's going to work. Hopefully it will, but I really don't think that's
Councilman, if I may remind you that as young adults, as we grew up, we were not told that we had to wear seatbelts. But yet, with a very good campaign and education, I think most people drive around today with their seatbelts on. So if we educate people, they'll do it. Just like I'm sure you drive around today with your seatbelt on. We didn't do it when we were
It's the
kids.
law, we have to.
Well, so is recycling. Recycling is also the law, but not everybody does it.
Absolutely. That's
So my point is you have to educate the people to continue to do it, be more, it starts out with our young, okay? As the young grow up, they'll be more recycling savvy. So with that said, I hope that we as a council will support that, and maybe, get these things, get this moving in the right direction. Other than that, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Boncino?
Yes, Mayor. This past Friday, September 11th, a number of us on the governing body joined with our fire department, ambulance corps, police department at our 9/11 memorial for a remembrance ceremony for the events of 9/11. We're 14 years removed from the events of that day, and as time goes on, it's very easy to get caught up in our daily lives and forget to remember something like that. But I think it's incumbent upon all of us to remember that day and the sacrifices that were made that day, and always keep that in our national memory. Relative to the recycling, I'm looking forward to that conversation about what the chamber brought to us. It looks like an interesting idea. The recycle bins are a little out of the ordinary in terms of what you typically would see for trash in a community. But as I go on business travel, the one thing that always attracts me at the airports are the new designs for these recycle containers. And I always stop and study them and look at them because they're eye-catching, and they really bring you to an awareness about recycling. So I'm looking forward to exploring it and seeing how we may be able to implement it on a limited basis, maybe to start, and see how it works out in our community. The Centennial Committee is holding a fish and chips dinner on October 17th, Saturday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the American Legion. I don't have a flyer. I think there'll be flyers around town. Lynn Zach is the chairperson, and she just asked me to communicate that to the residents. We'd like your support. It's the first fundraiser, I believe, for the Centennial Committee. As you know, we're members of New Jersey SEM, and with the last electric contract, with that electric contract, energy providers are required to at least obtain 20% of their energy from renewable sources. So with our contract with New Jersey SEM, we're able to receive 10 points towards Sustainable New Jersey. So I have an outline of that program, and we'll look to get those points and maybe look at other areas where we could get points to Sustainable New Jersey. And probably this recycling may be something to garner some additional points. So we'll look to couple those. The ambulance corps is having their car show. It is this Sunday, September 20th, 10 o'clock to 3 p.m. at the high school. The rain date is October 11th. And this Monday, September 21st at 6 p.m., the governing body is going to meet with the library board to review the plans for a capital project at the library. The library board has new leadership, so we're hoping to have a good meeting so the library board and this governing body could get aligned and we can move together on that project. So it's 6 p.m. on Monday. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr.
Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. As I mentioned before, we're going to have some paving going on in this community, not that we don't have enough going on now with Market Street, fixing the railroad tracks on the boulevard. Let me just indicate that our local paving should start the end of this month. They're having a meeting on Monday to see what they have to put together with the company that is doing the paving, so they'll have that meeting. As I indicated also that Route 4 will be from Route 4 to Elmwood Terrace. They're going to be paving that particular portion of the boulevard. And then we have another section of the boulevard from Lee Street to Falmouth Avenue. If we can get that in this year, we already have the money from the state. If we can get it in this year, that would be fine. Otherwise, it'll be in the spring. Talking about the spring, we have CD money. They finally allocated that money to the various communities, and they're getting community development money. And those roads in Elmwood Park that are to be repaved will be done early next spring. Just to remind everybody that Public Service, with their grant to dig up the streets and put new gas lines in, when that's completed, they're going to be paving from the curb out to the midsection of the street. So we'll get half those streets paved by Public Service, and then if we work with the community development or with ourselves here, we can try to get additional money from community development to pave the other half. And if that happens with community development, we'll get some streets paved in town, complete streets, without any cost to the boroughs. Public Service will pay half, and the community development federal funds will pave the other half. I'm also checking into the railroad on River Drive, the one right here. It's a county road, but it's the one going straight through along the river, to see if we can get that railroad repaved. I understand that there may be a project in line for that next year, the following year. I'll double check on that. I've been asking for that. That's been repaved at least 3 times since I've been here, and it just, until they do it like they did on Midland Avenue and like they're doing on the boulevard, it's going to give us a problem because it's on a little hill, a little bump, and it starts to cave in. So we have a lot of paving going on, a lot of work going on, a lot of people are getting exasperated with the traffic, but it's progress, and we'd like that. Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard? Keith.
Oh, it's so hot.
Rich Troinski, 40 Walnut Street, Elmwood Park.
Mr. Troinski, if you don't mind, because last meeting you didn't come across, so make sure you speak into the microphone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry. Okay. Regarding the school ordinance, and Keith Kasmark, clerk, or your clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, because I called Keith the minute I saw you post this on Facebook last Sunday, I think it was. Sunday or Saturday, I believe. I had a lengthy conversation with Keith regarding this ordinance, and kudos to West Madison for being proactive on this issue.
Woodland Park.
Woodland Park, I'm sorry.
Where?
Sorry, before that time, that's the way I understood it from Keith, and I don't understand the system completely. When you catch an illegal student, we had to go to Superior Court. This sort of ordinance that they passed, based on, I think it was Upper Saddle River, circumvents that. The Superior Court brings you right to municipal court, making the process a lot faster. Keith, anytime I'm wrong, just chime in, all right? But meanwhile, I give him a lot of credit. We should have been doing this years ago, because on the campaign trail, you know, as you all know, I'm running for mayor this year on the independent ticket. I've got a lot of residents on Washington and Lincoln that told me to come there during the early hours when the kids are dropped off to count the New York cars that are there. And believe me, there are New York car plates there. And to boot, I found someone on the inside of the Board of Education, or one of the teachers, aides, or I'm not going to say who it was, that told me that they actually have proof that people come from Queens, New York. So I say this would be a fantastic ordinance, but this in conjunction also with sticker parking would be a win-win situation for our town to pick up illegal students. And my hat goes off to you, Keith, very good.
Thank you.
On the recycling bins that we've been talking about, Garfield has this in process a long, long time. So if you're interested, Bob, you should go out and take a look and talk to Tommy Dutch. It does work just like the sticker parking does work. It's a plus for the town. If you talk to the people on the Birchwood section near the parks, they'll tell you that the bottles after a function, they're like a soccer play or whatever it goes on, are unbelievable. And the DPW doesn't see them, they just chop them right up when they come to cut them. And all that plastic is going into your drains and everything else. This type of thing, when kids do see, believe it or not, some of them will use it. Even our own borough field, we have functions, the garbage is mixed with the plastic. We do very little in the public sector of recycling. And with that, that would also help us to get rid of most of the garbage on the field. It would also help our DPW, who goes out to these events, picking up this stuff. So regardless if it's a break or a win-even situation, in the eyes of the chamber, sure, it's great for them because it's advertising. They get to advertise on these boxes. That's where the money comes from, which is a win-win for everybody in this town. And last but not least, I'd like to bring up about the library meeting. There is a library meeting, I think, for Monday with the mayor and council, called by Mr. Voncino, correct? At 6 p.m. to discuss the expansion of the library and the questions that you have raised. I remember back at a couple of work meetings, I just wanted to know if anybody answered the questions. I know the library, or the mayor handed out a law that said, a state law, that they have the right to remodel that building. Well, the way I read it with my attorneys, and I take exception to that, is that it's their own buildings that they own. Now, I wondered if anybody in this council approached your legal counsel on your end to review the situation and rule on it before we look at putting an addition on. Because I'm in favor of the kids, I'm in favor of keeping the library, I'm in favor of remodeling, bringing it into the 21st century. I'm in favor of closing the middle up if you need the space, based on your statistics, which Mr. Voncino showed at a work meeting. I have no problem with that. But can we legally, the library, and I am on the library board, can we put an addition on under that law? I'm not sure. Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Tom Conboy, 135 12 Avenue, and I'm not a candidate for this election. But I do think we should change an ordinance. We should have a mayor election every year. So much work gets done when there's a mayor election. That's fantastic in our borough. Kudos to Joe and Lou showing your real independence by pushing for this recycling bin program. The Chamber of Commerce tried to launch it before, and I think it's a good idea. So I hope the rest of your members of council will agree with you guys, and Bob included. This is a good idea. We should at least try. It doesn't hurt to try. And again, Mr. Kazmark, if I may for a second, Mayor of Woodland Park, I also sent you a text message. Congratulations. The mantra in this town has been, well, they're another board, they're elected by everybody else, they're an entity on their own, and we really can't tell them what to do. That's correct. We can't tell them what to do. What we can do is go to Board of Ed meetings, and what we can do is encourage the public here and keep encouraging, keep going to public meetings, and keep getting on the Board of Ed, a lot of great members on that board, to get them to do more things, to be more proactive, and not just with these students that shouldn't be in those classrooms, but in anything else that we have going on. I won't even get on to the whole thing with the improvement of the fields, but, you know, all of a sudden the magic trick, no money, now we got money. I won't go there, but I had mentioned it anyway. So great job with those on those trash bins. Question, I'm sorry I was a few minutes late, so I missed the open public part about the improvements at Cherry Hill. The $60,000, is that our half?
Yes.
So we're going to spend about $120,000, $119,000 into Cherry Hill? Okay. Is that going to fight all the crime that's going on up there and the drugs?
Probably not.
Because I know there's
We
none
have-
up there, so I'm just checking.
We have crime in all
I'm
our parks.
assuming that's the park,
We have
huh?
crime in all our parks.
Of drugs?
We have it everywhere. It's all over town.
Well, I know, well, not all the town, it comes through the roads.
Right.
In their
And
vehicles.
you pull over and you do
Yeah,
your drugs
okay.
in our parks.
But do we
in
have
our-
documentation that there's been drugs arrests in Cherry Hill?
No, there hasn't.
There hasn't been any. Last time I was on council, I checked, there was none. No, I'm just curious, and I read recently, and I do not expect anyone to answer me, I see we're being sued, and by one of the soccer leagues. Poor kids are suing us, we didn't give them a field. And I know there's good reason why, I don't mean that to you guys, I know the details too. But in the paper, it said that we offered them one park that is ridden with drugs and crime. So I'm just checking, what park did we offer them?
I don't think
Well,
we're,
can you at least tell me what park we offered them?
at this point, I don't think that anybody would really like to talk about it since it's a legal issue. I think that, Borough Attorney?
You can answer what park.
Well, we offered them Mosquito Jungle, and we offered them Cherry Hill.
Oh, well, Mosquito Jungle's not ours, we maintain it, but that belongs to DOT.
Right. But we have the approval to offer permits for that
I
field.
understand, no, Joe, I agree with you, and I know
Okay.
about that, so I agree with you there. I just want to see which one it was, because I know Cherry Hill, which is the one I heard there was, last time I checked, there was no actual documented arrest of drugs or anything like that in Cherry Hill. I can understand maybe why they wouldn't want to go up in that area, particularly when they would have practice at this time of night, it would get dark fast. But anyway, on the 60, is that going to include lights?
No.
We're
No
looking
lights.
into public service, bringing in the service to that area
Okay.
right now.
Because I know at the last meeting, well, not the last, but the last work meeting I was at in August, when the mayor was away, I know that the engineer kind of was shying you guys away from it because the county had indicated there's very little money this time around, and we'd probably be better off getting the biggest bulk of money by asking for our immediate needs and not asking for all. And I also thought it was a good idea to try to ask for everything, but also when I've sat at those meetings and it's tight when the money is, not as ample as it has been in years past. So right now it doesn't include any lights.
Correct.
Okay. But it could if PSE&G.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a good idea. PSE&G will actually do that. They'll actually put the poles in. There's some fees involved. They'll actually do that for you. I know because I've done that with them. So they do that. I'm sure that would probably help us out. So after the 60 comes out, how much is in the rec trust?
Not sure at this moment.
No? Okay.
Well, the rec trust is fluctuating as we speak because we have
Joe,
the
weight
applicant.
fluctuates too, but I just wanted to know how much is left.
Well, we're not going there, Tom.
Well, you can't. You're skinny now.
Through you, Mayor, as of 1/1/15, the balance was 342,435, but that doesn't account for,
Right.
that was January, so that doesn't account for the revenue taken in or expended this year.
Right.
But it gives you a ballpark.
Plus, we still have some money that still needs to come out for
To match
the
for English
additional
Ave.
improvements of English
English
Ave,
Ave.
which are upon us. When is that work going to start?
It's actually started yesterday.
Oh, it did? Oh, good. Oh,
The contractor's out there clearing the site.
excellent. Good news, Keith. Great.
I tried.
That's good. So how much, so the rec trust was about 3 and change?
I think 342 at the beginning of the
Right,
year.
but we still have, we probably want to pay that other half up. Because what's English Ave, about 100K of our part, our half?
Yes.
Approximately.
Right, okay. All right, well, great, moving on. Question, Councilman Chewinski, former Councilman Chewinski, I got confused, that's right, he's running for mayor. He did ask the question, and at the August meeting, it was, the borough attorney had said he had not had yet received information to give a ruling. Do we have a ruling on, does the library board have to come to us first for permission to do work on their on our building?
Mayor, may I? Last time I asked Mr. Kazmark if there's any record of a written lease, any type of agreement. My understanding is there is no agreement. So we would have to figure out, do a search on who actually owns the property and see if there's any specific restrictions on the property or if it was specifically marked for use as a library. Otherwise, I don't believe that they're going to have just a straight-out authority to take municipal property and use it and add their an addition without the mayor and council's consent.
Well, I found myself at this podium, I don't know how many years now ago, long time. That's how I decided to get involved in what goes on up here. I once had another borough attorney say, well, we don't own that building. Not against you, Judge, but another borough attorney, Mr. Basiri, who said to me, we don't own that building. Then later on, it was ruled, it sits on your property, you pay insurance on it, you cut the grass, you built it, Elmwood Park owns it. So I got to imagine the library was built with Elmwood Park funds, correct?
Library was built with federal funds also.
Well, but town funds as well, mixture, correct? So I got to believe that's our building. I only hope they have to come in front of you guys, the council, the governing body, to get that permission. Because when I was a sitting councilman, we tried to do work on the HUD building. We had a great plan and everything. At that time, the mayor and council said, that's our building, and we want you to come in and tell us what you're going to do with that building. I was a current sitting councilman, at that time, a sitting councilman. The chairman of the board came in, not the whole board, chairman of the board came in and showed plans on what they wanted to do with that HUD building to improve it upon the requests and needs of the rec department at that time. So that was always a big contention of who owned that building, and that's a town building. And so is the library, right? We snowplow it, right?
Yes.
We cut the grass. Kind of sounds like our property. So I hope they're going to come forward. I hope a lot of the public come out and attend the meeting. I believe it's Monday, the 21st. So I hope they all come out to hear what their $1 million library is going to look like. Because you look at other towns, and Councilman Moncino brought it up at the August meeting. You know, Rutherford made the news in the middle of August. Even Channel 12 did a story on it, where they're going to spend a couple $100,000. And part of their initiative is to increase their technology. Everybody today is this. They want to do e-books, and they actually want to eliminate books in their library that nobody has taken out in a very long time. So, and they're going to modernize it. So that's nowhere near the amount of money that we plan on spending. So I'm for the library as well. I don't want to be said I'm not for the library, but I just think about it here. You guys are having a meeting on Monday to discuss the library. You know how long it's been since I sat there and we tried to have them in and discuss what's going on at the library? The fact that there's not even a brick or a window or a railing or a push button for the handicap fixed. And maybe now it is today, since the last couple of weeks when a month or so, when everybody went down there to look at everything. Maybe some of those little things are fixed now, and you're still talking about the library. Something's wrong down there. You know, and we mentioned about PSE&G in the streets, about the half. Good idea. Now, when you say half, are we talking half when they go to do the project, or we're going to do half after they're done and then do our half?
Try to coordinate it.
So they're doing that work now. What happens if we're not going to get community CD money that fast?
Well, if we get CD money within a year, it's certainly not going to make that much of a difference if we pave the other half within a year.
Well, like on, well, let's see, let's forget Boulevard, that's a county road, so, but on some of these other streets, like right over here, off of Walnut, right? So they're going to do half, right? How much do we still have in surplus? We came in at zero. Not enough money there to finish at least that one street, to do the other half?
What street?
The street off of Walnut. What is it, Memorial?
Well, we'd have to see,
More?
what the situation is at that time, and that's our money we'd have to pay.
Well, I'm just saying, why not try to knock it out
If the
now?
other half isn't all that bad, it may not have to be done. Some of the streets are not all that bad.
But it's probably a street that's never been paved in a long, long time.
That's Mr. Chewinski Street we're talking about.
No, he lives on Walnut.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Walnut. Well, yeah, that's right, they're doing it on his end down that way. Okay, and just the last little thing. I thought it was very nice that the people from TD Bank, the branch that closed, that they donated back the photo that they had taken and made of. I know I saw it standing against the wall in the chambers last month or so. But I think it's about time. I know the answer I'm going to get is well, when we widened the street and everything. I think when we got the clock from TD Bank, I believe Ms. Pellegrini was on council then. So I think we could try to put it, finally erected for TD Bank before they're not in Elmwood Park anymore. They only have one branch left, right? So maybe we can get that clock up for them before they're not here anymore.
Okay.
So, thank you, everybody. Take care.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? Yes.
Rich Chowinski again. Listen, on that, I know Tom's aware of this, but I did speak to some people about that paving to the middle of the road and we can join the other half. That's a problem for us because Public Service has a blanket contract, whereas we would have to bid that other half of that road. And I don't think you guys can go enter an agreement with Public Service like that. But the other thing I wanted to ask Councilman Dombrowski, if I remember correctly, did you or did you not receive a letter from the library attorney telling them to fix your building?
I received an email from the library attorney stating that it is a borough-owned building and it is up to the borough to fix it. Yes, I did.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
James D'Amico, 64 Willow Street. I got a little bit confused what's happening with the Board of Ed, with the children. Can you explain to me what it's all about with the,
Illegal children in the
with
system.
the illegal children? What's
The
happening?
Board
What's
of,
going on with
the
that?
Board of Ed already has a resolution. If anybody is caught with their children in our school that doesn't live in Elmwood Park, they can fine that person the percentage of time he's been in the building, but it has to go to the Superior Court. What Mr. Kazmark in Woodland Park has done is to bring it into more of a local level so that we don't have to go to the Superior Court. And what the superintendent wants to do is just talk to the members of the Board of Education, see how many people they're catching, whether they're handling the job, and whether they want us to do it also. If we do it, I think it's fine. But I do want you to know that they have that resolution, and they're catching some people. I hope they're finding them.
Right, we used to have the fella that, I forget his name now, someone
Yeah.
used to drive around
Yeah.
and follow them.
Right.
Forget his name, what was it now?
So we'd have to find out, and they'd have to find
So
out.
that's what I'm getting at. What is the council, what is this all about with the council? What
We
does the
want to look,
council have to do with this?
his is, as Richie and the mayor have explained, we can expedite quicker. We don't have to go to the federal level, it's more of a local level, state level, I'm sorry. We can deal with it. Now, Keith, that was approved?
If I may, we introduced and adopted an ordinance in Woodland Park, which does two things. One, it establishes fines for parents or guardians who knowingly enroll their students into a school district in which they do not live within the district. Anyone who aids or abets that parent or guardian in enrolling their student is also subject to a fine. And then, probably most importantly, anyone who lends their address or dwelling location to allow that parent to enroll their students can be subject to up to a $2,000 fine. In addition to the school district being able to petition the municipal court, not the Superior Court, for restitution, for reimbursement for that student's education for the time in which they were ineligible to attend the local schools. So that's the ordinance in a nutshell. As the mayor's indicated, it does take it out of the, it does take the need for the Board of Education attorney to petition the Superior Court for restitution away from the Superior Court venue and brings it to the municipal level, where that case would then be made before the municipal court judge.
Right, which I understand also. All I'm asking is, what does it have to do with the mayor and council?
The mayor and council is the only legal authority within a municipality that can pass an ordinance or a law. The school board can adopt a policy, which is why they have to then go to the Superior Court in order to pursue the restitution.
Can you tell me that?
Whereas when we pass an ordinance, we're essentially passing a law. The school board does not have the jurisdiction to adopt
And you're
a
telling me
law.
that it's possible for the mayor and council to pass ordinances and laws for the Board of Education?
That, yeah, they would be able to govern any students who are illegally attending our schools or are ineligible to attend our schools, and that matter can be heard before the municipal court rather than the Superior Court for restitution. It also establishes fines, just like fines are established for speeding, for code enforcement violations. It establishes fines that the court, that the municipal judge can impose upon those who knowingly enrolled their student
And I
in Elk.
understand, and I know how it works, and I know exactly, I have to say, I'm super disappointed in this mayor and council, that you are so interested now in passing an ordinance, or what it is you're gonna do to go after students. And not one person on this mayor and council stood up when this council, when that Board of Ed did what they did to the taxpayers of this town. And nobody would say a word, or back one of the only people that tried to fight it. And when I heard this tonight, I almost fell off my chair. Over $5 million they took. And you all know it, but nobody said anything. I'm really disappointed, because we're worried about the children coming in illegal. Why didn't the mayor and council stand up and say something? And now you're telling me, well, we can't because they do what they want and they're autonomous and all, and now you're telling me, oh, well, we can make an ordinance. I am so disappointed, I can't believe what I heard, really. And they raised our taxes again this year. When you did it, you had a surplus. And you didn't raise our taxes because you had a surplus. They had a surplus, $1.4 million, and they raised our taxes again and said because we can. And not one person on this mayor or council stood up and said anything about it. I'm so disappointed with it. I really am. Thank you so much.
Mayor, through you, I just want to clear up where we are with this prospective
Mr.
ordinance.
Kazmark, we have less than 5 minutes, and we have to change the tape.
I'll be super quick, but I just want the public to realize that the only direction I've been given relative to this ordinance was direction to send it to the superintendent of schools so that he could share it with the Board of Education and make a determination as to whether or not this is something that they would support and want the mayor and council to do. So that's number one. Secondly, with regard to Mr. D'Amico's comments, we are a body that creates laws. We don't govern the finances of the Board of Education. We set penalties for people who are involved in illegal activity so that the municipal judge can follow those ordinances and those laws when he conducts his court sessions. And that's, simply put, that's what the council would be considering when considering whether or not they should pursue this ordinance. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to
There's no
speak?
jurisdiction for that.
Wait a minute, wait.
We gotta
Is there
change the tape.
anyone else who wishes to speak? We have less than, how many minutes? 2 minutes. Can you get in 2 minutes?
Yes, Karen Barecki, 156 Lee Street. First, I want to say, Mr. Kazmark, I want to say the construction work on Market Street went very well.
Good.
I was worried, but it went very well. So it was a day, they really did a nice job, so congratulations on that. Secondly, I want to touch base with Mayor Muller. I don't know if you recall this, but many years ago, I personally came to your office and spoke to you about, I knew of a family that had illegal children in the school. And we had a lengthy conversation about the fact that you told me no judge would touch it. Perhaps they have a back door, perhaps the mail address is different. So many years ago, you were speaking about, when I was in school in the 60s, there was a truant officer. He followed people.
They have one.
Detective LaPlaca.
No, they have one now.
Well, but what I'm saying is now I think it's a wonderful thing. Maybe I'm not, maybe Mr. D'Amico's not too happy about it, but I think it's a wonderful thing because our taxes are reflected so much by the school board. And a few years ago, I knew for a fact that these children were being picked up. And, you told me no judge will touch it.
I never remember me talking about that.
I know, I didn't think you would
No,
remember, but
and-
I
and
remember,
quite
because I
frankly-
remember watching them be picked up every day.
Quite frankly, I would tell you, you have to go to the school board and point that out, and they would check
No,
it out.
that's not what you told me, though.
Well,
That's not what you told me. So I just
sometimes-
thought that it's important now that we do pursue that, because that could possibly save us all a few dollars in our taxes.
Thank you.
What is the percentage that our taxes, Mr. Kazmark, is school board?
About 60%.
About 60.
60. So I think that anything we save is a
Absolutely.
positive.
Karen,
If I can, gentlemen, ladies,
Yes, okay.
and so we don't
Sorry,
have to put another
That's
tape
my
on.
2 minutes.
Thank
I'll
you.
wait.
If there's no one else who wishes to speak, I'll close the public
Oh, no,
portion.
I wanted to hear what Mr. Coletti had to say.
Oh, then you're gonna have to wait while he
Okay,
changes
that's
the
fine.
tape. What do you have to say? What do you?
Okay.
You want him to talk to you after a while, so he doesn't have to change the tape for 1
Sure, go
minute?
ahead.
Mayor, there's somebody else in the audience that wishes to speak. We need
Who
to
else
change the
wishes
tape.
to speak? Okay. Go ahead, change the tape. We ready?
Karen, to your point, I was just informed that, Keith, you got an actual number, or in terms of what it costs us per student to educate?
No, not yet.
Okay, I'll give you an approximate, I'll say 15 to 19,000, I've heard.
Close.
So when you think about that and how it's unfair to the balance of us taxpayers, I think the council, being cognizant of that and trying to make a ordinance that would reduce that possibility, because these people, they know how to worm around the laws,
Absolutely.
and they get around us and they cost us in the pocket. So anything we can do proactive to reduce that is, makes a whole lot of sense to me.
Absolutely, I think it's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing. That's why I'm saying, I don't understand how we can just pass it off, that it had to go to Superior Court, but no judge would hear it. You know, the fact that there perhaps had a different mailing address. I even spoke to the postman in those days. I'm talking quite a few years ago. And I spoke with the postman. I watched the children be dropped off. I'm in this town a long time. I know who my neighbors are. And it was just swept under the rug. So I just commend Keith on, you know, what he was able to do in Woodland Park. And I hope we can pursue that for ourselves here. I think it'll be valuable for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Hello, everybody. 34 Local Street, Terrace, Arabia. I just want to tell you people, 12 o'clock at night, especially at nighttime, you got cars going up Mulberry Street to Local Street, going one way. And I've seen that not many times, I've seen it. And now they start parking in front of my house and go to the bar in front of my house. Every night I see that. And then not one car, yesterday, the day was 3 cars in back together, all came up and went on my street and turned around. And that's wrong, because that's a one-way street. And it's going down the one-way street. Mayor, question ask you. I see a do not enter sign sitting in behind the building here, doing nothing. Could we have that sign hooked up to my street? Because
I think there is a no, a
there's
one.
only one sign.
How many do we need?
We need 2. Because at least we have the other side with the sign facing.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Another thing to ask you. What about my lights? The lights, we have no lights there yet in the backyard here. We still don't have no lights.
The backyard where?
Back here. You have dead lights. You put the, Keith said he was gonna work on it. And I don't know what happened. Hey Keith, what happened to the lights?
I will talk about it with Mr. Kartz tomorrow.
You said you were gonna work on it. Several months ago. Nothing happened.
I will speak with Mr. Kartz tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
There's no one else, I'll close the public portion. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dombrowski, second by Mr. Coletti, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Thank you.